Abusuan yeni komo e wo channel so aksi AGH Politics Avenue podcast of secretary na me speak headlines and na yidi bi exomo yenko yensimu na Vincent Asafuah minority member Emma Ǎttǎcǩ constituency MP na in a press conference papa yi etimi ekika nsembi edifa CEO Emma National Pension Regulatory Authority onua papa na ba bonten abakase ensema Vincent Asafuah ekaye no false, baseless and misleading na ensem besa na Vincent Asafuah ekaye wose papa yi wahye ne ho atu ne bosumi akatuam abra woni board anwene ho sanso na o try say obetimi akwaje bosia of 700 million Ghana cedi na what they are complete omu authority headquarters headquarters abra omu headquarters a ewo hodada no eno eho entich mabia na papa no ababonten abe defend aksem we see ya ye behia se ebo ewra nsem Away
from that, the National Pensions Regulatory Authority has firmly rejected a raft of allegations leveled against its chief executive, describing them as false, baseless, and deliberately misleading. The minority member of Parliament for Ǎttǎcǩ, Vincent Asafuah, at a press conference on Thursday, accused the chief executive, Chris Bodimensa, of increasing salaries and attempting to secure a 700 million cedi loan facility to complete phase 2 of the authority's headquarters, while phase 1 allegedly remains unused. However, the NPRA, in a statement, has categorically denied these claims. But before we bring you details of the authority's response, listen to Vincent Asafuah.
The first phase of the NPRA headquarters, a state-of-the-art facility along the N1 highway, also known as the George W. Bush Highway, was financed through IGF, derived from the approximately 0.33% of the 2.5% pension administration fees. That gradual and prudent financing model was pursued over time, yet the facility remains uncommissioned to this day. Some 3-4 years ago, the NPRA committed a lot of money in building the first phase of the headquarters of the NPRA. And today, if you move along the N1 highway, that facility is there, uncommissioned, unused. We have a certain NPRA CEO who has also taken pensioners' money, about 700 million Ghana cedis, to go and expand that headquarters. A headquarters that you have not even used. A headquarters that you have not even commissioned. Your spending appetite tells you that you should go and expand it at a cost of 700 million Ghana cedis. Now, the problem is that if that money is given to fund managers to manage, the interest that will accrue to pensioners will be about 20%. He is paying less than 7 or 8%. Why is Mr. Chris Bodimensa pursuing a phase 2 facility when phase 1 remains uncommissioned? What is the urgency? What is the necessity? And why should retirement savings be drawn into such a large-scale infrastructure expansion at this point?
Well, Asafuah also accused the chief executive of doubling his salary upon assuming office in 2025.
There are also concerns regarding internal administrative decisions, including rapid promotions and appointments. Reports indicate the appointment of a personal aide, reportedly a veterinary doctor, who has been elevated to the position of assistant manager. A further governance issue requiring urgent scrutiny relates to the creation of a new directorate for micro pensions under the administration of Mr. Chris Bodi-Mensah. We are informed that this new directorate has been established with the appointment of one Mr. Daganu as director, a position reportedly carrying an estimated monthly salary burden approximately 100,000 Ghana cedis to the pension contributor. Despite the establishment of a fully fledged directorate for micro pensions, Mr. Chris Bodi-Mensah is also reported to have appointed the former CEO, the former Chief Executive Officer of the NPRA, Kofi Anoche, who served during the first administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as a consultant on micro pensions at a reported cost of 4 million Ghana cedis. That is the duplication of cost to the ordinary pensioner. A particularly disturbing issue has emerged. We are informed that Mr. Bodi-Mensah doubled his salary immediately upon assumption of office in February 2025 without a board approval.
Let's now listen to the Corporate Affairs Manager of NPRA, Collins Aprako. He describes the allegations as misleading.
I think it is important that we situate some of these issues in their proper context. First of all, if you take a careful look at the presser that the MP did yesterday, he sought to say that the pension funds situate with the NPRA. It's a point that I will want to debunk, and I will want to direct him to look at Section 155 of the Pensions Act, the National Pensions Act, which is Act 766. If he takes his time and look at Section 155, it explains the activities and the functions of pension fund custodians. They are the recognized and the designated body where pension funds is seated. So it is not as if the monies and the cash flows that are coming from pension is sitting with NPRA, and whenever we decide to do something, we just dip our hands in the monies and just go gay wire with it. That is a wrong assertion that he sought to
is there phase two of this facility anyway? Is there a phase two particularly of this facility?
Yes, there is.
How are you funding it?
Here, I don't know, with me here, I don't know if your cameras can capture this. This is an expert advice that we had from the consultant, Ǎnĝrǐly. This is a letter dated 8th September 2025. I don't know if your cameras can capture.
It's a document we can check and ascertain a bit later, but if what you're... Okay.
Very well. But I want my argument to be tied to the apron strings of documents which are facts, which are figured, which are verifiable. I wouldn't want to join him in that allegation spree, because this is an authority. This is a recognized...
What's the consultants advising you on? What did the consultants direct you to do?
On the 8th of September, the multi-card consultant, lead consultant who signed this document, goes by the name Joseph Hayford. He advised the authority that looking at the topography of the land and looking at the plans and the designs of the phase one, he will want to continue with some portions of the phase two. Let me quote verbatim from what he wrote to the authority. If you look at the point 3 that I have here, as I've underlined, he said, point 1 and through above suggest that the phase 2 foundations and ground floor parking need to be constructed as part of the completion stage of phase 1 as a matter of urgency. Emphasis mine. This is the consultant speaking.
Did he state why it is urgent?
Yes. And he continues to say, as a matter of urgency, to obviate the said adverse impact on the occupation. So if you look at the point, this is the point 3. If with your leave, I can read the point 1 and the point 2. That will explain why he
Are you able to summarize exactly what the adverse impact could be?
Yes. So what we are saying is, this is a consultant working on the project. This is a consultant contracted under the former administration. With the appointment of the new CEO, he didn't change the contractor. So this is the contractor who started with the work from day one. And this is the advice that he gave to the authority. That is why we've not, let me state emphatically that the phase 1 is not completed. It is false, it is misleading.
Well, away from that, Ghana is accelerating its push towards universal health coverage by expanding enrollment under the National Health Insurance Scheme and just days ago, rolling out the free primary healthcare nationwide. Well, these are deliberate steps towards achieving the UN Sustainable Goal 3, good health and well-being. But beneath this progress lies a critical gap: drug security. Access to drug security is what we're going to put in the spotlight on this afternoon, as access to healthcare worldwide widens across the country. Ghana is still lacking behind in terms of the capacity to produce the critical medications that we need, especially vaccines in this day and time, thereby remaining heavily dependent on imports and increasingly uncertain about the global supply chain. So the real question we're asking this afternoon on The Pulse is no longer just about access, but sustainable supply of critical pharmaceuticals. The critical question we're asking this afternoon is whether Ghana can truly achieve universal health coverage without a strong homegrown pharmaceutical industry. And that's the focus of our discussion today. And we are engaging the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana on how to close this crucial gap. Joining me in the studios, I have two individuals, a lady that I have met once and a gentleman as well, the immediate past vice president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, Kwabena Asante, and also the immediate past treasurer of the association, Nana Boaji Asare. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Each time I think about local pharmaceutical industry, and I must be very honest with both of you, I always see poorly branded bottles with a lot of concoctions in it, and they tell us that it can cure about 10 different illnesses and diseases. And so how really can we even trust that our pharmaceutical space is well equipped to provide us with drugs we can trust and that we can use? And it's not one application for 10 different illnesses. I'll start with you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, and I want to greet your listeners. So first of all, this view that you have is a view that is shared by many. But there's also a view that is not totally accurate.
Okay.
So the unique thing about pharmaceuticals and pharmacy in general is it's a highly regulated sector. So the people who are engaged in it are regulated, and then the products themselves are regulated. The manufacturing process is also very, very regulated. So the medicines that you see that cure 10 things are not the ones that we are talking about. Those are not necessarily within the regulated space of pharmaceuticals. And the conversation that we want to have today is about the regulated pharmaceuticals that we have. And those are regulated by our very respected Food and Drugs Authority. So you cannot start a manufacturing facility without authorization from the Food and Drugs Authority. You cannot manufacture a particular product without authorization from the Food and Drugs Authority. And before the Food and Drugs Authority will grant you authorization to do any of those things, there must be satisfaction that the products are of the right quality. They will be safe for the people who take it, and also they can provide the right efficacy when you take it. So if it says it will cure malaria, when you take it, it will cure malaria. That is what we are talking about. The ones that you see on the buses and other places where they cure 10 things are not the ones that we are talking about here.
I see.
Yes.
And then let's look at locally, especially in Ghana, we rely heavily on imports for most of our pharmaceuticals. What are you doing as an association to deal with that, to ensure that we increase at least local production?
Yes, so unfortunately, the perception that there's a high amount of our medicines are imported is not totally true. It's not 90-something%. So,
it's
general
how many
data
percent?
is about 70%. So it's
still
not great.
High. It's over average.
I agree, but it is much better than 90%. So the 30% of our medicines are manufactured locally, and there's a reason for that. One is a lack of capacity, and I'll talk about that a bit later. But then also it's also backed by data. There are certain kinds of medicines that are used more than others. So for example, if you take, let's say, a simple medication like paracetamol, the quantity of paracetamol that is used in this country is far more in terms of those who use it than the medicines that are used, for example, to treat a particular cancer. You understand? So there's a reason why a certain kinds of medicine are produced here in large quantities. But then also, to achieve universal health coverage, we shouldn't only be focused on medicines for the diseases that commonly afflict Ghanaians, but we also be able to deal with diseases, find medicines for diseases that may not afflict the generality of people, but then when they do afflict any one person, it is a serious condition.
It's a serious condition.
So medicines around, like we were talking about vaccines, cancers, and all those medicines, we call some of the medicines biopharmaceutical medications. Those are high technology medicines that we don't yet produce here. And I use the word yet because the industry, if you look at its trajectory over a period of time, like they say in the past 30 years, it has evolved quite a bit. In the beginning, when the industry started, the major producer of pharmaceuticals was Gihok then, which is now Phytorika. Over the period till now, we have approximately about 50 pharmaceutical manufacturing companies in Ghana here producing all kinds of medications, and now some even going into the production of vaccines. So the trajectory has not been as fast as we wanted, but there has been a growth of the industry over the period. And the question now is that what do we do to get there?
I'll come back to you to answer that, because now we know that artificial intelligence is helping with different sectors, and so we want to find out how the pharmaceutical industry is actually leveraging artificial intelligence to improve production. But let me come to Nana. What challenges are you facing currently?
Okay, so thank you very much and good afternoon to your listeners, and it's good to see you again and be here again. So as a society, and like you said, our society is made up of professionals, so pharmacists. One of the things, your introductory statement talked about one drug curing 10, 20 illnesses. One of the issues is that, and that again is being regulated by the Traditional Practitioners Council, which is also a council under Ministry of Health. We would need to have a better collaboration. We agree that is traditional medicine, that's alternative. We can't do without it. And of the truth, there are pharmacists in that space as well, in the phytopharmacognosy space, ensuring that even though they are herbal, we can actually make it in the quantity, standardize it, and then use. Because whether you like it or not, there are some of us, no matter what you do, they would not take an orthodox medication. And I must say that one of the steps that has happened so far is that there are about 54 centers in Ghana now that are attached to our regular orthodox medical facilities. So you go to certain places like regional hospitals, like Tema Regional Hospital, you see a herbal hospital within that enclave. It is all to support. And it's one way that, but really challenges is that one, most of us as Ghanaians would have our usual family doctor. Most of us would have a usual family nurse, but most of us do not have a go-to pharmacist, a family pharmacist that they would attend, that if they do need pharmaceutical advice. Because one of the things, as Kwabena had earlier mentioned, is that pharmaceutical products are not...
We ain't some who team court watching on so mam and out the so jemre. That's an so body in their dumbi edomania. Unia, Ebesign Asomo.